My name is Dominic Smith, and the title of my paper is Fresh Water? Who Cares? Um, it's an argumentative essay basically saying how the world disrespects fresh water and freshwater sources, and how they're like taken away from like other plants, animal, and like people just like us. Well, not just like us, but that actually need it. So here we go. Throughout many parts of the world, the value of fresh water and freshwater sources are completely ignored by huge corporations and businesses that constantly pollute the water without regretting its later outcome. Many lakes, rivers, oceans, and vast bodies of fresh water are being polluted daily by those who could simply care less about what happens to it. Many others may believe that dumping certain pollutants into freshwater supplies is not a big deal, due to the fact that there is such technology that cleans the water and help it to become fresh again. It is proven with certain facts that this may not be the case. Even though there are different machines that are able to clean water, none of them perfectly clean it and restore it back to how it was. Moving forward, there are many bodies of fresh water that are unknowingly being affected, and one of them would be one of Michigan's Great Lakes, Lake Superior. Lake Superior is affected by chemical contamination, shoreline development, and wetland loss. Between 1986 and 1997, it was recorded that concentrations of dieldrin, mercury, PBCs, and toxaphene exceeded the most stringent water sources. This makes it hard for some animals and plant life to survive within the lake. Some small fish tend to die from the chemicals that are in the water, while larger fish, such as trout, are able to survive but end up carrying mercury in their bodies until death. When seeing or reading new things like this, people really begin to open their eyes to what is going on around them. The article, Water Everywhere, had the same problem, but it talked about water all over the world in general instead of just one place. Within this article, there was a common belief that there was an infinite amount of water on Earth, but not all of it was fresh. With reading this and seeing how much of the fresh water was consumed and taken away from its place of origin, it would be thought that in the near future many things and people would not be able to survive due to the fact that industries constantly took fresh water and used it as they pleased. Fresh water is renewable only by rainfall at the rate of 40,000 to 50,000 cubic, I mean not cubic, but cubic kilometers per year, according to the article Water Everywhere. Even though it's true, the global consumption of fresh water doubles before the renewed fresh water can even accumulate and be dispersed properly. Personally, people should have a say in what is happening to the freshwater supply. In certain parts of the world, there are families that barely get to see fresh water rather than drink it for their survival. Just like in places such as Haiti or other places like this, people have no source of fresh water, so they should be properly provided with it, even though they do not have the means to pay for it. But to the work world, it is justifiable to use the fresh water when constructing buildings, getting rid of certain waste from power plants, or just dumping massive loads of garbage. Certain people would rather do this to make themselves look like a good person, but in reality, they're making themselves look like an even bigger asshole. On the other hand, many may believe that dumping certain pollutants into freshwater supplies or even taking from freshwater supplies is not a big deal. First thing, when dumping pollutants into fresh bodies of water, certain companies do this on purpose with the intention that everything will be cleaned up at a later time. But it never is, which slowly makes the water become worse and more harmful to the things that need it. Secondly, when taking from fresh bodies of water. Many believe that it is for a good cause and would help out the world or mankind later in the long run. In conclusion, there is no fighting around this matter of disrespecting all water, all fresh, all sources of fresh water. Different companies and organizations all know that they are wrong for some of the things that they use the fresh water for, when knowing it could have been used for something else with a better cause, such as saving a life. But as I stated earlier, I think, but as I stated earlier, they think about themselves and how doing things that they do would benefit them instead of thinking about others. That was my paper. Thank you. Comment, say some stuff. I don't know. But there you go.